right. We are now live streaming to YouTube as well. Welcome, YouTube audience. Thank you for joining us. We're behind the scenes at Live on Purpose Radio, the podcast. And if you have not yet subscribed to the podcast, you might want to do that. liveonpurposeradio.com. But you get it here because you're our family, our Live on Purpose family. Joining me today is Carlos Aguilera. Say hello, Carlos.
Dr. Paul, it's good to be with you.
So glad that you're here. Carlos, we're going to go official podcast mode in just a moment. Our friends here behind the scenes will just be listening in. And at the end of our conversation, stick around, because when we wrap up the podcast, we're going to do a little bonus material for our friends behind the scenes. How does that sound? You ready to roll?
Ready.
Okay. There will be a brief pause, and then I will do the administrative stuff that David needs to make this a real episode, and then we'll be off to the races. And all of you listening behind the scenes, feel free to comment and share there if you're on YouTube. We'll get to those later. We're going to be ignoring you, not to be rude, but we've got a podcast to record, so we're going to do that, and you get to listen in. Okay, here we go. This is Live on Purpose Radio, episode 677. Positivity That Pays, the Future of Leadership in Direct Sales, with Carlos Aguilera. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Live on Purpose Radio. This is Dr. Paul, the shrink who expands your life, bringing you another episode of Live on Purpose Radio. And today's conversation is one that I've been looking forward to because it shines a light on something that's been missing in the world of direct sales and frankly in business in general, I think. And I am excited to welcome my friend Carlos Aguilera to Live on Purpose Radio. Welcome, Carlos.
So good to be with you, Dr. Paul.
I got to give you a few props here, Carlos, because people don't know who you are yet. Well, some people do. In fact, a lot of people do. Carlos is coming from the world of direct sales, and he knows this world inside and out. He's worked behind the scenes as a corporate executive with big companies in the direct sales industry, like Morinda, Tahisha Noni, Beachbody, and others. Carlos, you've helped thousands of leaders to grow their businesses, and this is a credential that I am personally very proud of because you showed up in our Certified Positivity Practitioner program, and you are now also a Certified Positivity Practitioner. And I think that's awesome.
I had to. As soon as I found out what that was, I was like, my goodness, I need that certification. I need to be able to understand how to inspire and bring positivity to people's lives.
Well, you know, there's a lot of reasons why that's so important. I'd love to start by just having you share some of your experience. I've given a little introduction and I probably left a bunch of stuff out. But Carlos, tell us a little bit about where you're coming from, what your professional experience has been. And then I'd love to pick your brain a little bit about what you've learned about these leaders in the direct sales industry.
Dr. Paul, I've been super blessed in my life. I've been able to, through direct sales, through these amazing corporations like Tahisha Noni International, Morinda, and Beachbody, to travel the world. I've been pretty much everywhere except for Africa, and I want to fix that. So I know that you're going to help me with that. So
I've invited you to come with us.
But guys, direct selling is such a wonderful industry. Wonderful industry. It employs or it provides income to millions and millions of people in the US and around the world. From what I understand, is close to $100 billion industry worldwide.
And now, can I clarify something, Carlos?
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people. I've got friends, we've all got family members who are in a company. They
Mhm.
share a product. It might be cosmetics or nutritional products or fitness products. You are coming from the corporate side.
That's right.
So you've been affiliated with the companies that actually provide those products
Mhm.
for the sales teams to go out and share with the world. And
Yes,
so I just wanted to clarify that the bulk of your experience is not out there as a distributor or a representative. It's more in the actual structure of those companies. Is that correct? Did I
that
understand
is
that
correct.
correctly?
That is correct. And our my role was to take on the operational side of things. Our entrepreneurs, people who are building a business with Tahitian Oni or Beachbody or other companies that have consulted or worked with, they're the leaders, the ones who attract people and they go together and they train them and teach them how to sell and they build a phenomenal opportunity for themselves and others. Sharing products that are worth it, sharing products that people love and they find valuable. That's why those companies are so
Right.
successful because they have products that are very
Yes.
valuable. And my role inside those companies was ensuring that the opportunity was viable, making sure that, for example, we were open in countries like Chile or in Colombia or in the US or in Canada, and we were shipping the products that you were selling and also paying the commissions when those commissions were generated. That was my role. I was in charge of
Mm,
overseeing those things. But as a communicator, as a marketer, also was storytelling and teaching people how to tell their stories and helping people be recognized when they were achieving things and taking them into amazing trips to the Caribbean or
mm.
to other continents. So it was a phenomenal experience for me, and it really impacted me because the women and men that had the opportunity to associate with, to work with, were phenomenal leaders, people who were
Yes.
inspiring others.
I'm thinking about my own experience, Carlos, and this goes back a few years because I remember Vicky and I were reading a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And we were just new in our family, in our relationship. And a lot of people, like we were at that time, were looking for ways to supplement their income
Mhm.
or learn about personal finance. That's why we're reading the book. But I've noticed that there's a lot of these companies that provide opportunities for people to actually learn about business or to learn about sales or how to run a home-based business. And I think a lot of listeners to our show here are in that mindset or they have been there like we were at a time. And I remember Robert Kiyosaki saying at some point, it may have been in a talk I heard him give, maybe in one of his books, where he said, direct sales, network marketing, these are ways to learn what you need to know. And it's not necessarily the end all be all because people have other things that are even more important to them in life, but they're trying to find ways to create time freedom and money freedom. And so it has a big draw with a lot of folks. So as you're introducing your experience here, Carlos, I'm just thinking through my own history, and I've been involved in a couple of those companies before.
Mhm.
Nothing ever really huge, because I think a lot of people who get into it, well, they don't succeed like some of the leaders do up on the stage. And I'm just curious if you have some perspectives about the leaders, because you've worked a lot with the leaders, those really successful people in their companies, and they have teams filled with people like me at the time, who were just trying to maybe find a way to improve their life or their
Yeah.
lifestyle.
Most people who join a direct selling company or opportunity as a distributor or as a someone who wants to sell the product, they're not looking for a career change. They're not looking for a new
I think
a
that's
huge
true.
mega business. What they're looking for is an additional $300 to $500 a month. That's most people.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and when and companies, it's like a gig. It's a gig that they want to do on the side, whatever work they have or whatever keeps them busy and paying the bills. This is something that will supplement, complement what they're already doing. Something that may offer perhaps a vacation at the end of the year, paid for by a company that you love their products. That's what most people who are
Yes.
engaged in direct selling, that's what they're looking for. But there are very few, a group of elite performers who are all in and they want to run with it. And I was working with them. And guess what?
Mm,
Main focus of those leaders who are the top performers was ensuring that the majority of their team were fulfilling their dream. And their dream was to make
yes.
500 to $1,000 a month. And that's it. So when you realize where you fit, right, in an organization, and you understand how to help others achieve their goals, is when the magic happens. And that's why it's so
Mm,
exciting for me to be able to talk to these guys who are coming from different backgrounds, different countries, different cultures, telling me how is it that they were organizing their teams so they can be making those $300 or $500 that they wanted extra a month. And because they were doing that, then they were earning these trips or they were traveling or they were changing the lifestyles. And that was very exciting for me.
One thing I love about this industry, Carlos, and it's interesting because a lot of people have a love or hate relationship with
Mhm.
direct sales, network marketing. We all know somebody who's involved in it. A lot of us have been involved in it ourselves. And the thing that I love though about it is that it creates opportunities for normal people to improve their lives. And the leaders have to become true leaders.
Mhm.
It's not just someone who's good at sales. They have to be really good at helping people, like you said, to achieve their dreams. Help. Who was it that said the best way to get what you want is to help other people get what they want?
That was Jim
I,
Rohn.
was that Jim Rohn? I
Jim
knew it
Rohn.
was someone who's very oft quoted in
Mhm.
that area. And I really believe that. This fits right in with some of the positive psychology models that I've developed. Happynomics, for example. You're familiar with that because you're a certified
Mhm.
positivity practitioner now. And understanding that we all have something to offer to other people. And in offering that to them, we actually get what we want. It's exactly what Jim Rohn said.
And Dr. Paul, and that's one of the keys because there are many industries that have a very bad rep. For example, it's
Yeah.
like it's very common to hear jokes about attorneys, and nobody likes attorneys. It's very common to hear about used car sales people, right?
Hey, we hear them about psychologists too,
Psychologists also. So
or
it's a
network
kind of
marketers.
or marketers. But as I've been in the industry for so long, I've noticed really what happens, and I'm pretty sure you can explain it better than I can, but is expectations. When a leader
Mm.
is selling the correct expectation and they have a plan to lead people towards that goal, then it's not a negative experience. And it
Yes. That is ringing with me because I think the trust is lost when there's a lot of
hype.
fluff and flash, the
Mhm.
hype, the rah-rah, and no substance behind it. Is that
That's
what
what
you've found as well?
That's exactly what I found. So it's very interesting because the leaders who are most successful, they're actually not necessarily the ones who are more uh, outgoing, but the ones who are more um, um, focused on processes. This is what I do when someone comes
Mm.
in. This is what I teach them to do. These are the checklists that they're going to follow, and this is how they find the success. So it's not necessarily somebody super exciting. Come on, let's go do this. But it's someone who says, "Hey, I know the path. I know how to get there. I can show you how to do it." And
Oh,
what
yes.
and what that creates, Dr. Paul, is trust. Because oh, this person has a path. Then it really depends on me how I follow it. Instead of someone saying, "Hey, let's go do this together." Rah, rah, rah.
Mm.
And
The
that also
mindset, the mindset is very important. I would say it's essential.
definitely.
But what I'm hearing from you is it's not enough to just focus on mindset or motivation. There has to be some kind of a path, some kind of a practical, applicable way to get there. And I'm curious to ask you this, Carlos, because in your experience with different companies in
Mhm.
different industries, um, that mindset piece, how core is it? How core is it to the teams, to the leaders? Just share with us what you've noticed there.
So let me tell you a couple stories, okay? And
Mm.
once again, I was always working with the top performers, so it's easy to get skewed and thinking that everybody's that way. No, you're talking. I was talking and dealing mainly with the top performers in each of these companies.
Like
So
the
it's
top 10% or less.
yeah, less than that, maybe a 1%.
Ah,
And and
okay.
and and what that meant is that it was very easy to feel like you're being successful because you're talking to very successful and charismatic people, people who knew how to lead and move others. But there was a reoccurring conversation that we would have after the party was over, sitting at the beach somewhere, and after the new product was launched, we would sit down at the beach and just look at the sunset and have a conversation about how is the business going. And the question would go down to this, Carlos, I love this place. This is so amazing. I'm so glad that I earned it. I'm here and I'm here with some of my team members. But let me tell you this. Some of these guys just now told me that they're going to quit. Even though
These are some of their top
some of the
leaders.
top leaders and their leaders are thinking they're gonna quit. That they don't feel that they're going anywhere. And it's interesting because these are the same people who one are making money, are traveling, and are enjoying all of this uh, uh, connections with the top leadership of the company, and they in their mind were ready to quit. So my question then went to the next point, and that's why when I was being part of the certification, I was like, "Oh, this is what we're missing," and it's this because these guys have a plan of where to take them, and if people follow the plan, they will find success. They have a leader who's that's constantly there, encouraging them. The company, we as a company, invest hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, in creating phenomenal opportunities for them to be motivated. Hey, a trip to the Caribbean, a trip to Thailand. What else can be done? And I kept on thinking the same thing that my friend, who's there or a top performer in the company, is saying, why is my team quitting? What's going on in their mind? And that was the key, their mind. And what I noticed is this.
Yes.
You tell me about it. It's really that there is quite a disconnect from saying, I have a plan, and then saying, I'm going to act on that plan. The action was missing.
As you're sharing this, it's got my brain buzzing, Carlos, because you're speaking my language now. In fact, a lot of my colleagues in the speaking industry love to get an invitation to go to one of these big companies, their events, right? Because there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of people there, and they pay top dollar for names like John Maxwell or John Gordon, who is someone that I personally know and speak on similar topics, or um, Mel Robbins just came a couple of weeks ago to a big conference here in Salt Lake City. These are big names, and they're paying top dollar to bring them in. Why? Because they know how important it is to get that mindset. But the problem that I've seen, and I've spoken in some of those events, Carlos, but the problem that I've seen is that they can get all fired up, and then what? That because they go home to the same place where they left to go to the event, and they don't have a process or habits in place to maintain that positive energy that they felt at the event. The events are great, and I think they're probably essential for these companies to be successful. And
any company, any sales force needs events and training and inspirational thoughts on ideas that will get them excited.
yeah,
The issue that I found, and I was thinking to myself, this is exactly what the industry needs, is learning how to use the equipment.
yes,
It's not necessarily, hey, I'm going to fill you up with gas and go and burn it off for the next 2.5 weeks. And then when it runs out, what do I do? However, if you teach
right,
somebody how to generate their own positivity, how to create an atmosphere where my relationships with those who are key in my life, whether it be my kids or my wife or those who I find dear to me around me, is not working out because I'm so focused on building a business that nobody understands, by the way, because I'm just doing it in my basement, right? Right? Then it's easy for me to call up my upline and say, I'm ready to quit. I'm ready to quit because my kids hate me. My husband and I are not doing well. I don't feel this is going to go anywhere. One of my top recruiters told me that she's done. And that is one of the things that is missing. Not necessarily the business plan on how to get to those 500, 1,000, or $10,000, whatever you're looking for, because that's given, that is there, and the top leaders know how to do it because they did it themselves. But it's learning how to use your mind to solve the everyday problems that suck away the energy if you don't have
yes.
it in the right priority. What do you think about
Carlos, this is exactly why I invited you to the mic today, because your real world experience in this particular industry, and I don't think it's limited to direct sales or network marketing or any particular industry. I've seen this across so many different examples of this. I have a client, for example, one of my private clients, and I don't have many now. I only have a handful that I see privately. This is a CEO of a big company, and he estimates that he's spending about 80% of his time trying to take care of the mindset of his people. And that's not, I mean, he's like a rocket scientist. I'm just picking something so that you'll know that's not what his training is. But as a leader, and I'm thinking about you as you're listening to this podcast, dear listener. You're a leader. If you are a parent, or maybe you can relate with what Carlos is saying here, that you've got a team that you're leading, maybe in a business or in a community or a church or a synagogue. Where is your leadership role? And you can tell I get really passionate about this, Carlos. When you showed up for the Positivity Practitioner certification, I saw the lights go on in your mind, because you know this is a missing piece out there, I think, across all domains of leadership.
Definitely, doctor. And one of the keys is that the first thing that most people will think is, oh, then I need to become a coach. I need to train people how to do it, and that's phenomenal. We need coaches. We need people who are willing to step into that role of saying, hey, Do you want to level up? Do you want to increase your potential? You want to be a better parent? You want to be a better PTO, PTA director? Do you want to, whatever organization you're in, if you want to increase your performance, that's exactly what you want to do. It's like become a coach so you can learn how to use these tools. But what attracted me to what you're teaching, Dr. Paul, is that you've put together in a very simple way
Mm,
models,
right.
models that help you understand how your mind works. And guys, that's exactly what we need. We don't need to become the coaches or the psychologists for other people. No. What we need to do is be able to teach others these models so they themselves can know how to regulate their emotions, how to have better relationships with people who are key in their lives, so they can then help them achieve better goals or better relationships. And that's where really everything it comes together.
When you mention the models, this is one of my crazy human skills that I've just been blessed with. My brain has the ability to take complex psychological principles and condense them into very concrete, visual, applicable models. And there's several of those that you've become familiar with through your certification, Carlos. But I love the way that this has come together to, and you're showing some of them for those who are following the video version of this podcast. These models are powerful manuals for the operation of the equipment of your own mind. And that, I think, as we put those into the hands of leaders in a shareable way, it makes all the difference. In fact, you and I have had a couple of conversations about that.
Mhm.
And I'm just wondering, there are people listening who are going to be thinking, this sounds like exactly what we need. I think the future of leadership in direct sales and other industries depends on leaders having access to these kinds of tools, because the humans on our team, I mean, forget about AI for a minute. I'm not
Mhm.
sure how to do AI psychology, but the humans on our teams are going to need this more and more as we move into the future. Does that sound right to you as well, Carlos?
Completely. I believe that AI will not displace human connection. It cannot.
Right.
The way we're connected with each other, the way we interact with each other, it's always going to be key in any organization, especially in direct selling. But the key to it is to understand how your equipment works. And it's very interesting because it goes back to the idea of saying, "Hey, let me tell them what they can do." No, this is first start with yourself. Understand how you can operate your own mind, and then using the models, you can teach others how to have better relationships. And once again, any sales team, it comes down to relationships. Any influence that you have over people that you're selling to will come down. I mean, true enduring relationships. And by the way, direct sales, the main thing that is selling is it's passive income or reoccurring income. That will not work if you don't have a healthy relationship with your customers or with your team. And how do you have a healthy relationship?
Yes.
Dr. Paul is an expert in that. That's what he's been doing, what he's
Mm-hmm.
been teaching.
Well, I do sales trainings and team trainings all the time. I mean, it's part of what I do as a professional speaker, as a psychologist. What I love about the direction this conversation is going is that we're making these models more accessible, shareable, and rewardable. As I learn more from you about direct sales and some of those models and how they work, we're scheming some things, folks, and it's too early to reveal everything about what we're putting together. But Carlos, you have come up with an approach that will help us to get these positivity models into the hands of more people. We're calling it positives. You know, I'm thinking about how there are so many negatives out there. Where are you going to get your positives? And that's the question that, Carlos, I see you working on. Do you want to tell people a little bit about just kind of what you're envisioning? I know you're still putting some things together, but give us a little sneak peek.
You know, many years ago, I read a phenomenal book by James Clear. It's called Atomic Habits.
Yes.
And there he teaches you how to create habits or how to break bad habits. But one of the things that he says is like, you never rise up to the level of your expectations. You always fall to the level of your habits or your systems,
Your programming.
your programming.
Yeah.
Positives is a wonderful app that will be adding positivity to you daily. It will be adding not just
Uh,
positivity, but also hacks on how to bring positivity about, even when faced with very serious or problematic issues that are happening in front of you, which, by the way, we all face them every day. So
welcome to the planet.
that's right. So that's what we're working on, and on a way that can be applied to a mom, an executive, a leader, um,
Can I share
every situation.
something,
Yeah.
Carlos? I think I've shared it here um, sometime before on this podcast. But this is a very personal experience that I had when I hit a low point in my personal and professional development. I actually experienced a bankruptcy. I was at the bottom. And I had a conversation with one of those leaders that you have worked with. And this particular leader was Mary Louise Zeller. She's in her 80s now. She's a 6th-degree black belt in Taekwondo and an amazing leader in the direct sales space. I had had some conversations with Mary Louise, and she was on this podcast, Mike. This is years ago, decades ago now. And as I was interviewing Mary Louise, she leaned forward. And she knew a little bit about my situation. Okay. She leaned forward and she said this: Paul, the troops are not coming. And she let that land. And then she said, we are the troops. Boom. Wow. What an inspiring, powerful leader. She realized we're not going to sit around and wait for a company or a government or any other entity to bring this to us. We are the troops. And it inspired me so much that it was a transformational point in my life. And I know today, as you and I, Carlos, are talking to other leaders who realize the troops are not coming. We are the troops. That changes everything.
Mhm.
And I see what you're doing, Carlos, is bringing the tools that those troops need, the leaders who are willing to step up and take personal responsibility, not waiting for their company or a product to transform their people, but giving them the tools that they actually need. And then whatever product or service that you're out there selling, it's going to make all the difference in the bottom line. What do
Owning,
you want to say to that,
yeah,
Carlos?
it's like being an owner of your own life, and that is key. Like
Yes.
understanding that this is your life and it's wonderful. It could be as wonderful as you want it, or it could be as terrible. It depends on you, 100%. The cool
Mm,
thing about Dr. Paul is that he's got models, psychological proven models that can help you so your mind, instead of being weighed down because of all the issues you're having or all the negativities around you, you can use your mind to unlock that potential so you can act on those plans that probably your
yes.
leader or your boss has for you. But the reason why you're not acting on it or not doing those things is because you're literally your mind is closed down. Now, if you're the one who is putting together that plan and you're seeing people not doing it, then you have to help those individuals understand how to unlock their potential and know how to use that equipment so they can then take action. Either way,
Uh,
the models are the key to teaching you how to do that. And let me tell you, I've been around the industry for over 17 years and I've never seen anything like this. We've only been inviting people who teach wonderful concepts, like John Maxwell, like uh, um, uh, wonderful speakers who come and get people excited and ready to go, and they buy their books, and then what happens? A couple months later, the leader still calls us, "Hey, what do we do now? Is it still not working well?" When you understand what happens in your mind and how to unlock this, how to use this to have influence on others positive, right? Or how
mhm.
help them see positivity in what is to come, then is when action happens. That's why I
Mhm.
love these models and I think that people need them more than ever, especially leaders.
Now you're being an advocate for the models that I've built in my practice,
That's right.
but you're doing more than that. Carlos, you invited me to be part of a launch of this Positives app that is
Hmm.
coming about. There will be, at the time of this recording, we're right here at the end of October in 2025. And at the time of this recording, we are anticipating in just a few weeks doing a pre launch by invitation only to leaders, those who are resonating with this message and want to be a part of it. Carlos, I put together a special link right here on the podcast for people to get on the list to be invited to that pre launch. If you are a leader, if you are feeling the burden of helping other people to manage their mindsets, to learn how to use the equipment of their mind, what happens if your whole team is able to do that? So here's the link. It's easy to remember, liveonpurposeradio.com. That's the name of the podcast, / get positives. And that's plural, positives with an S, get positives, all one word. Go there. There's a little form that you'll fill out, and then you'll be on the priority invitation list for when this pre launch happens. Carlos, do you want to say anything else about that pre launch event?
I'd love to have a conversation with you. If you're looking for something to add on to your teams or to your family, this is the place where you'll find it. You'll find positives here. And the conversation is ongoing. We're just starting. This is something that hasn't been launched yet. I would love to have a conversation and say, hey, what can we add to your wonderful programs you probably already have?
Mm.
How can we add something that will improve the psychology of your team, improve the way they see the world and they see their own goals?
I tell you, from what I've seen already, Carlos, this can be transformational to individuals, to families, to teams. I'm excited to see the new leadership that is coming into this space. And it's just exciting. Carlos, thank you so much for joining us here today at Live on Purpose Radio. What a fun conversation.
What a pleasure. Thanks so much.
All right, folks, you've heard it. It's time to apply it. Let's go live on purpose. Okay, and the podcast is a wrap, but we still have our friends here behind the scenes. Carlos, what is bubbling to the top for you as the bonus material that you'd like to share with our friends here behind the scenes?
So our plan, guys, is to put together a conversation with the leaders on how we're going to get the Positives app not just launched and into the hands of thousands of people, but also what are the key content that you want us to prioritize, because we have so
Yes.
much to share, and so many avenues of application of these models. So yeah, as you get involved with us and we're having a conversation, know that we're thinking of you and the solutions that you're looking for your organizations. And not just that, but also seeing the way how to compensate those who are our best customers. Yes, the ones who are saying, hey, I need this for myself, but guess what? I've got a neighbor who she will love this, or have a colleague who needs this, or you know what? I can apply this in my organization. If you're sharing it, guess what? We want to share some of the earnings of that with you. So we're trying to put together an affiliate marketing plan that will compensate those who are willing to be sharing with us. But not just that, we're also thinking of we're trying to figure out how to put together the idea of, hey, if somebody takes this course and they're using the app and they're thinking, this is awesome, Dr. Paul, how do I get more out of it? We're thinking of creating the idea of in one click you can schedule a time with a coach who can take you through your personal conversation and how to increase
Mm.
improve your relation with with your kids, or increase the potential of your team, specifically for you having a one-on-one conversation with a certified positivity practitioner or a coach. What do you think of that?
You know what? I've been training coaches for almost 2 decades now. And it's it's these coaches who feel that calling.
Hmm.
And I use the word calling. Some people are going to recognize exactly what I'm talking about here because you can't ignore it. Maybe you're in a whole other line of work and it's like, I know there's something more. There's more that I could do to help my fellow human beings to save and enrich their key relationships. And there's 7 of those, by the way. We won't get into that today, but as I train these coaches and watch them light up because they're able to really assist someone. And in the context of our conversation here today, Carlos, what if leaders had some of the skills or at least the resources available to connect people to those who have those skills? So it's exciting to me what you're doing. And I'm so grateful that you've invited me to be a part of that because you saw the value of the models. Folks, remember, if you want to come to the pre-launch, go to liveonpurposeradio.com/get positives. It's just a Google form. I threw it together today because we don't even have an official invitation ready yet. But if this is resonating with you, you'll be on the priority list. We'll invite you to that event where we will do the pre-launch for this exciting tool that's coming out to use Carlos's skill in the direct sales industry combined with the models that represent my life's work. That is just so exciting to me. I think
And so
some good
needed,
things are happening.
so
Yeah.
needed, so timely too.
Hey, there's some bonus material for you. That's awesome. Hey, folks, thank you for joining us here behind the scenes. Think about who you know who would love to hear what you just heard. And please share it with them. You have access to people that we don't. So let's all be part of the solution. The troops are not coming. We are the troops. Thank you for joining us. Thank you again, Carlos, for joining us here. And we'll catch you again on the next episode of Live on Purpose Radio here behind the scenes. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.